bring you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, this is the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Brandon is out today. My name is James DeJerome. I produce the show for Brandon. I've been with him for a couple of years now. The Consumer Quarterback Show started about 7 years ago. Brandon is a real estate professional here in the Bay Area. He owns the Platinum MVP team. He's a Keller Williams agent, and over the years of doing real estate business in the Bay Area, he managed to get this great network of business professionals together. He thought, what a great idea if I could share their expertise with the Bay Area. All the consumers in the Bay would certainly benefit from the knowledge they provide. So what we did is form the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a partnership, a team actually, of business professionals that take time out of their busy day to come down here to the studio and provide some information. We want your dollar to go farther. That's the whole idea. It's a consumer advocate program, and Brandon has rounded up all kinds of professionals. And it started out in the home services because he is a realtor, as I mentioned, but now we're all over the place. We have lots of legal experts that come on the show. We're into health. We talk a lot about science and technology. So really the show has expanded, and we feel the value is really there for you as a consumer in the Bay Area. So we have a team, as I mentioned, of business professionals. We also have great sponsors for the show. One of the new sponsors we brought on board is Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. You can imagine as a real estate professional, you have a deal that needs a house cleaned, a property has to get cleaned right away. Well, Jade handles all that for the Platinum MVP team. She's the official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. You know, if you're looking for a professional cleaning company that has COVID-19 certification and really uses eco-friendly products. And we talk all the time about local and family-owned. We want you to, patronize the local economy here in the Bay Area, and that's what Jade's all about. Locally owned, family business, and the official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. So get in touch with Jade for all your cleaning needs. All right, we also have properties to pitch on the show. Any of the real estate you hear me talk about on the Consumer Quarterback Show is available for you through the Platinum MVP team. Again, that's Brandon Rhymes. He owns all that stuff, and he's got business opportunity, real estate opportunities rather, both commercial and residential. Johnny's going to throw a few up on the screen. If you're looking to get into the Brandon area, 3405 Gray Whetstone Street. It's a 4-2 on a cul-de-sac. The price has been recently reduced. You got 2,160 square feet. So a great residential opportunity in the Brandon area. Get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. Don't leave money on the table. If you're buying commercial or residential, here is an opportunity for you to build on your own lot. 5510 South Elkins in Tampa. So 12 minutes from downtown Tampa, 4 minutes from the Tampa Yacht Club, a chance for you to build right on your own lot right there at 5510 South Elkins Ave in Tampa. So Brandon, I mentioned the commercial opportunities, residential. He's got land available for building as well. Don't leave money on the table. Get in touch with Brandon Rhymes. He can handle all your real estate needs, even in this time of low inventory throughout the Bay Area. Okay, we have a lot of great professionals that come on the air with us. Ray Hall is our Ray Hall Appraisals. He's our appraisal expert. Certainly, as much as we talk real estate and home value, we definitely need a partner who's got that covered for us. What's going on out there, Ray?
It's a busy time here in Tampa. We're it's funny when things picked up back in March. I've been waiting for it to slow down, and there's just no sign of it.
All kinds of pressure from inside the state, outside investors looking to get into Florida. Everybody wants to buy real estate down here.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. We've got a lot of people moving down from up north. A lot of people choosing to not live in those states with the with the state tax.
Everybody loves the fact that there's no state tax down here.
Yep, exactly. And that's one of the great things about Florida.
Yeah.
Is that we don't have that state tax. We got beautiful weather, and it's just a great place to live.
I often wonder about people from the up north. They're more traditional neighborhoods. Down in Florida, you get a lot of subdivisions. Mm-hmm. And when in your business, we talk a lot about value and relative value. What's your neighbor's house cost relative to yours? When you have all these gated subdivisions and unique golf course communities and all that, it's not the same as just a neighborhood on a grid system where you can look at avenues and streets and say, well, here's this and here's that.
That's exactly right. And a great example is a house I just had, and I had one of my trainees helping me with it. And she just couldn't understand why all the sales were below, the contract. So I had to tell her, I said, well, you don't have anything from in that specific community. I said, I want you to look back further. I want you to try to get one sale. Turns out that, the prior sales in that community were a lot higher than the surrounding areas. Okay. So, that's just where the appraiser comes in, performs more of an analysis, and has to find out that are these gated communities selling higher than outside, and that's part of what we do.
Oftentimes you got to educate the homeowner as well. They all have big ideas about what they're going to get for their home.
Yeah, a lot of appraisers go into an inspection. We call it an inspection, kind of quiet and tight-lipped, and they don't talk much. I'm kind of chatty.
Okay.
I don't tell them anything I'm not supposed to, but I try to kind of show them the path of what the appraiser's doing and how he's coming up with that value. Because I don't want them to, because otherwise they're not going to know how I did it.
Right.
And if it's lower than what they thought, they're upset. But at least if I can give them, some examples of how we do it and how that value is created, they'll understand.
I fear that you're going to run into a situation that often happens in coaching where someone who's standing on the sidelines has told someone, well, he's great. Don't listen to the coach is not, he hasn't just seen what this kid can do yet. Don't you listen? And I'm a builder. I live over here. I know the value. You should be asking for another $10,000 on this. I could see you having a fight with family members and people who feel like they know for sure what this thing's worth.
I get it all the time. I did a home last week, and the homeowner even said, "Well, I know what it's worth. You do what you have to do, but I know what it's worth." Well, no, you don't.
Right. How long is it going to sit here?
Exactly. And this was just for a refinance, so it wasn't like there was a contract involved. But I get it all the time, and I've had people say, "Well, the one across the street was $40,000 more than what you appraised it at." Well, it's also about 1,000 square feet bigger.
Yeah.
What
about those home run buyers that are just holding out, Ray? You tell them, "Hey, you're way overpriced. No, we're just going to wait. Someone's going to eventually just give it up."
That's their risk to take.
Okay.
Who knows how much this is going to last. I remember back in 2005, I was a trainee back then. I started appraising in 2004, and I remember 2005, everybody, is this the time, just they knew everything. Mm-hmm. It's like the stock market. They felt they could time the market, and maybe they waited, and then by 2008, they were losing money on the deal. And I see some people only recovering now from what happened back then.
You can only sit there so long with it on the market. I mean, you got to have some action.
Well, people don't understand. They're always trying to hold out for that big dollar amount. Mm-hmm. But in that time that it's sat on the market, you've now paid the mortgage. You're now going to have to be responsible for that taxes, utilities, repairs, all this stuff. So, how much money did you really make by wanting that really, really high price and hoping for that whatever unicorn to come in and pay it?
Now, Ray, you work all over the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I do. Residential-wise, mostly the Tampa Bay area, but commercial, usually I do the West Coast and over to Orlando.
Well, I haven't considered you in the commercial role. Tell me how that works. So you have to take into account the numbers that have been generated in this location by this business, but what if the business owner is incompetent? I mean, it's kind of tricky, huh?
Well, see, what you're describing there is going concern value.
That's
so
right.
That's the value of the actual business.
Not your worries so much. You're talking about the physical facilities.
Right. So what I do is, my values derive from the market.
Okay.
So I'm going to find comparable sales, and usually in commercial we go heavily on price per square foot. So what are the average going for on a price per square foot? Then I'm going to see what's the market rent for the subject property. Mm-hmm. And then when I find that, I have to determine expenses. And then what I have to do is take a market-derived cap rate. And it's a big long process,
okay.
But you apply that. It's a divider for the net operating income, which I take from the expenses and the market rent, and then that produces a value. And
it makes sense. You got to learn how much it costs to run this building.
Exactly.
What are the utilities and all that kind of thing. I notice in the commercial world, though, a lot of people have modified a structure just for their business. Mm-hmm. And then you got to kind of project. Is that what you do, Ray? To project how another business would move into that space?
Not necessarily. That's called build out.
Okay.
It depends on what you're looking at. Most warehouses don't have a build out. Most office spaces really don't.
Pretty typical in terms of the way they design.
Pretty typical, and a lot of times maybe in the sale price, it's not going to make too much of a difference because in commercial leases, a lot of them will allow a certain amount of money for build out. So the landlord says, okay, I'm willing to spend $10,000 building this out. Anything over is yours. So that's kind of something that's dealt with a little bit later on down the road.
We talk a lot about the Bay Area, the pressure on real estate in the Bay Area because of our low inventory. Is that also in the commercial space, Ray, do you find?
No, it's a different market.
Okay.
Right now, commercials...
Opposite, right?
I don't want to say opposite, but it's just not having the influx of residential because a lot of office space isn't being used.
Right. We talk about that pressure on brick and mortar owners to get into the virtual space, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A great example is we have a large Citibank complex here in Tampa, and Citibank just purchased that building back for themselves. They were leasing it. They now purchased it back. It's a huge complex, and it's now sitting empty because everyone's working from home because of COVID.
Wow. So the prices on commercial real estate, I'm sure they've been impacted, but they're going to continue to be impacted, huh?
It's all going to depend. We may have a new president coming in. What's he going to do? Is he going to shut the country down again?
Right.
That could really impact commercial. Restaurants who survived the first shutdown, maybe they won't survive the second one. So, we have a lot of things that are going to go on and going to impact.
Well, I wonder if a giant chain or a large national chain that is got the financial footing to make it through this kind of thing starts to look at a potential space for expansion down here and maybe gets in touch with you and says, hey, we need a couple of different options for us. I know they're all about population density, when they decide to put a restaurant or a business. Where I've done a few things. Cracker Barrel, for instance, had an issue where I was working in a jurisdiction. The story was about their height of their sign. I thought, well, how could just a few feet on the sign make a difference to their bottom line? Man, they had it spec'd out. They showed the exact numbers from at least 50 locations where the sign height absolutely impacts the amount of traffic you pull off the highway. So I can imagine in the commercial world, you see a building that might work for you. Where is it? How's it going to fit? What can we do to it? So it's really a different way you've got to really forecast the potential of the building.
Right. And that's going to, it's the use of the building.
Right.
When you're doing a fast food restaurant or something like that, or a chain, you want it with great visibility. That's why they say, McDonald's has some of the highest priced real estate in the world because they're almost always at a signalized intersection. And that's the most ideal commercial place. But let's say now my whole office is virtual. All my employees are virtual. Everything's virtual. But if I went to brick and mortar, do I need the high visibility? No, I don't get walk-in clients. So I'm not going to pay that money. I'm better off being in an office park and hopefully maybe pay a little less because I'm trying to watch my bottom line, not bring in the drive-by
I would like to think there's some innovative folks out there with imagination that figure a way to use commercial space in a new way. That's the whole idea behind this COVID thing, is really force people to rethink how they do business and come up with novel approaches. I wonder if there's a new way. We talk about cohabitation sometimes where somebody in a business will share a space. Have you seen any more of that? I
haven't necessarily seen any more of it, but I think the popularity is going to stay because as someone who works from home can tell you, you get sick of it.
Yeah.
Because you never leave the office.
That interaction with other people.
The interaction, sometimes it's a great way to network. I have a friend of mine who has a software company, and some of his business came from the people he has the shared space with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
To bounce things off people, see how they do it in terms of just simple things like how they structure their billing or how, the kind of things that apply to all businesses.
Exactly. I mean, I recently just joined an appraiser mastermind group, and we just met in Nashville last week, and that's what we do is we discuss not necessarily how to be appraisers, but running our business.
Right.
And we bring up problems we're having and we help each other out. And sometimes in that shared space, you can kind of get that interaction from other business owners.
He is Ray Hall Appraisals. You can find Ray online, rayhallappraisals.com.
rayhallappraisals.com.
Boy, it's critical to have somebody you can rely on to give you some real value because, again, you're the homeowner. You love your home. For you, it's worth everything. You don't understand how it's looked at from the potential of another buyer. So it's nice to have somebody you can bounce that kind of stuff off. We're going to run into a break now. When we come back, we're going to more with Ray about, some of the, we talk commercial, we're going to talk residential, a little bit of some of the specific jurisdictions in Tampa Bay and how values change, even though you're right next to somebody else. Of course, this is the Consumer Quarterback Show. I got a feel-good story for you about Tim Tebow. Don't forget, Tim Tebow is always out there doing good. If you haven't heard about him, you're just not looking for what he's up to, because I got a great story for about Tim Tebow and homeless people in Phoenix. And don't go anywhere. Our sponsors, our partners, more of the Consumer Quarterback Show coming right at you.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
That's right, consumerqb.com is where you can find a list of all the partners on the Consumer Quarterback Show, all the sponsors on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and some of the real estate pitched by Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. The sponsor for this segment is Discovery Golf Cars. Discovery Golf Cars are not just for golfers. You know, everyone has one of these things now for business, recreation. Lots of makes and models available at Discovery. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman. You know, they sell new and pre-owned. They also allow you to rent or buy. They offer financing and even have mobile repair if you run into an issue. So check out one of their locations in Tampa or Clearwater, or of course online at discoverygolfcars.com. And I mentioned Brandon being the owner of the Platinum MVP team, having real estate opportunities for you, both commercial and residential, even in this time of low inventory throughout the Bay. We're going to look at a few now. Johnny's going to throw one up on the screen in the Newport Richey area. This is a full acre. 4-bedroom, 4-bath on the water. So waterfront home at 6128 Oak Ridge Ave in the Newport Richey area. If you want to get to Newport Richey and you want to be on the water in a beautiful home, give Brandon a call. He's got a full acre for you at 6128 Oak Ridge in Newport Richey. So again, any of the opportunities you hear me pitch, here's a commercial opportunity in the Riverview area, 8001 U.S. Highway 301, 2 commercial buildings, 33 parking spaces. He's right on a busy corner lot with a traffic light. So we just talked about how you in the commercial world, that traffic light and that intersection is critical. In the Riverview area, he's got 2 commercial buildings for you, 8001 U.S. Highway 301. Get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. Don't leave money on the table. Whether you're buying commercial or residential or you need real estate to build your own home, he's got all those opportunities for you. Before the break, we're talking to Ray Hall Appraisals, and some of the different things that help him get values and some of the ways Florida is a challenge compared to some other places. We talked a little bit about commercial space and how that works. I was kind of uneducated in terms of how you calculate value. Mm-hmm. In the residential world, again, we talked about pockets, you know, Seminole Heights and New Tampa and Wesley Chapel. Where's the new construction occurring right now? I imagine everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's Seminole Heights. You'll find areas where they're tearing down, you know, some of the old homes that, you know, are just beyond renovation and rebuilding.
It's one of the older spots in town.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, that was one of the original bungalow areas back in the 1920s when we were mostly cigar manufacturers.
That's right.
In fact, a lot of those bungalows were built by the manufacturers for the employees.
Really cool.
But, you know, down in the Progress Village area, I know there's been a lot of townhomes down there that have been done, some bigger developments. They're still building out, you know, Riverview. In fact, I just did one in a new community out there. So, you know, kind of the areas that we've been seeing new construction for years now, they're just, you know, ramping it up a little bit. I'm in New Tampa and K-Bar Ranch area, and I know they're still building new homes out there. MI has a big presence there.
I was very impressed when I started seeing the development out there at K-Bar because of the way they had spaced that community out. It wasn't, you know, they really have, I assume they're going to grow into that area, but I mean, it's really cool how you got some isolation back there.
It is. It's funny. I always say, you know, if you find me, you're really looking for me because a lot of people don't know what's back there. I mean, I'm 10 minutes from Cross Creek Boulevard, you know,
that's
and I'm right by
that's the other
it.
thing. The infrastructure around it starts to develop so you can get around faster and the traffic starts to build as the population does. You see any new roads going in back there? I
think eventually, you know, right now we were all hoping they were going to connect Mansfield, which is in Meadow Point in Wesley Chapel, to Kinnan, which would connect into New Tampa. Unfortunately, the folks up in Meadow Point didn't want it. So they are connecting the roads, but only for emergency vehicles.
How would that affect value, Ray? Because like you said, some of the residents are like, no, we don't want that to mess up our value. But then it provides access, so that can increase value, can it?
Well, see, right now, you know, a lot of the shopping and everything is in Wesley Chapel.
Okay.
So it could help those of us in K-Bar because then we'd have that better access up to Wesley Chapel without having to go out to Bruce B. Downs. Meadow Point maybe might not help them because they have increased traffic going into Wesley Chapel.
How does some of that infrastructure impact value, like fire stations, police stations, hospitals?
Well, it's more like, when you're in the city, they that's all engineered by the city and the county.
Right.
Where that's going to really maybe impact you is when you're out in a rural area. But then again, when you're valuing real estate in a rural area, you don't take from the main parts of the county or the city. So that's kind of already priced in there. It's rare that I come across an area within the city of Tampa or in unincorporated Hillsborough County that's in Tampa that doesn't have sufficient utilities or sufficient fire or first responders.
So in a county like Pasco, it's a big county, but not as dense in terms of population as Hillsborough.
Correct.
You just assume that we're pushing, everyone's, like you said, we're pushing Wesley Chapel out and pushing north up there. Eventually it's going to fill in. The values between putting a new home next to an older home. Say you want to build a new home. You've got a lot, and it's in a community that's established. Does it have the same value as a new home in a brand new community?
That's hard to say.
Okay.
That's going to go community by community, and that's where the appraiser comes in, and we've got to try to find that. A lot of times people will say, well, they have an older home, and they're looking at that new one up the street saying, oh, that just increased my value.
Right.
Well, no, that's apples and oranges.
Okay.
If your home's 30 years old and that one's brand new, that's the last home I'm going to look at for a comp for either one of them.
Gotcha.
The only way I would use that is maybe if they both have a similar feature that I can't find somewhere else. But they're really apples and oranges, so you really don't compare the two.
So getting into a real estate transaction, you can see how important it is to have an idea of values, because this whole thing is going to be, the buyer's going to hold out, right? They're going to try to press you a little bit. There's competition. Certainly, we talk about the inventory being low, and that forces a lot of people to push that pressure onto that home. Yeah. How long are you finding people hold out? I see offers being made because it's so competitive now.
They're not really having a holdout.
Yeah.
A lot of times I've had an incident recently. I went to do the inspection. The realtor was waiting for me, and he knew that the contract was really high because he said, I know you do what you've got to do what you have to do. He said, but I had multiple offers. I said, I understand that, but I still have to do what I have to do, and I have to have a credible value that's supported by the market. And I can't, at the end of the day, go, well, I'm going to put $20,000 on it more because, gosh darn it, there were multiple offers. I can't do it.
So if you're getting into a real estate deal, you need to get Ray Hall. Ray Hall, what's the best way for folks to get with you? And what you can help work commercial? We talked about your ability to work commercially and residentially, and your residential expands a little further. Is that right?
Well, residential, I only do the 5 counties in the Tampa Bay area. Commercial, I go further. I've gone down to Fort Myers, Naples. I've gone over to Orlando. I've done the periodic one up in the Panhandle or in Jacksonville. If you want to hire me, and it's worth my time going.
And some unique ones. We've got about a minute left. I want you to tell the burial mound story. How you're trying to get value for the burial mound.
I did. I had an Indian mound down there in Manatee County, and
now somebody wanted to build on property. They found, hey, this is a burial ground.
Right. So, and it was already owned by a museum, and they knew what it was. So I found out that in order to, the state says you can do whatever you want, but you have to do it. You have to do it right.
Yeah.
So you had to have a company come out and excavate it. Well, that would have cost $1 million. Wow. This is about a half-acre lot. It wasn't a $2 million property. So I had to figure out that the value to it was to connect it to the adjacent property, which would give the adjacent property 2 more units that they can build in a future development. So then I have to go and I have to take a look at properties, and I have to value them on a price per allowable unit. And then that's what I applied, and then that's how you come up with that value.
All about values. He's Ray Hall Appraisals, rayhallappraisals.com. He's done a great job for us on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to encourage you guys, if you're getting into a real estate transaction, to get in touch with somebody you trust, because those values, we talk about sitting on the market for a long time. That's not helping you. You're making your payments anyway. So let's get a deal done. Let's get Ray Hall involved. All right, Ray, thanks so much for coming in. We're going to take a break now. We've got Fred DeFelice coming up from Water Science US. I want to encourage all you folks to check out our partners and our sponsors at consumerqb.com. And don't forget about our feel-good story. Tim Tebow gives a homeless person the shoes right off his feet. That's Tim Tebow for you. All right, don't go anywhere. Consumer Quarterback Show rolls on.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, James, you want to do mic check?
Yes, sir. This is the host, Mike. Fred, count to 10 for us on the guest mic.
Well, you betcha. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You feel good?
I got it.
Okay. When Johnny says we're good, we're good.
Sounds good. Just let me know, Johnny.
And there you are. All right, so you can hear me. I can hear you. We're ready when you are.
All right, perfect. Everybody stand by.
Okay.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
That's right. Give Brandon a call for all your real estate needs. As we mentioned, he is the owner of the Platinum MVP team. He's a Keller Williams agent, and even in this time of low inventory throughout the Bay Area, Brandon has both commercial and residential opportunities for you. We have a great sponsor for this segment. It is Replenish IV Solutions. You know, Replenish IV Solutions does a great job of making you feel energized, hydrated, and replenished. They got safe and effective ways to restore your body's systems with crucial vitamins and nutrients. We're all worried about our immune system with this COVID-19 thing, and Replenish IV Solutions really offers an alternative for you, a way to get yourself really refueled with great vitamins and nutrients. The thing is, they've got multiple Bay Area locations, but they'll actually come to you. Really cool business model. Steve and Lisa Gunnan, Replenish IV Solutions, they'll come right to you and make sure that your health is primary care for them. We want to make sure that you check them out at replenishivsolutions.com. Lots of 5-star reviews. And again, a great friend of the program and a longtime sponsor here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, Brandon, as I mentioned, is a realtor in the Bay Area and has property opportunities for you. We're going to take a look at a few. We've got commercial and residential opportunities available. In this time of low inventory, we still have one in Spring Hill. If you want to get into the Spring Hill area, this is 41 acres. So you can really start a ranch if you want up there near Highway 41 and County Road 52 in Pasco County. 41 acres, as I mentioned. It's zoned agricultural, RS3 for future use. 12500 Hamlin Road in the Spring Hill area. 41 acres for sale. So Brandon's got real estate, he's got commercial opportunities, he's got residential opportunities, and he's got land available. Here's one in the Palm Harbor area. This is a condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, vaulted ceilings, new granite countertops, accent lighting. It's right on the water. Got a bonus room as well. So if you're looking to get into the Palm Harbor area, 4209 Preserve Place. Don't leave money on the table. Brandon always says, get in touch with the Platinum MVP team for commercial and residential real estate opportunities. All right, before the break, we spoke with Ray Hall Appraisals. We talk a lot about real estate on the show, and of course, Ray Hall does a great job with appraisals and is part of the team and does a great job educating us on how to get value in and out of your home. Now we've got Fred DeFelice, one of our partners in the water science. Waterscience.us is his baby. And Fred comes on all the time. We talk about how to get clean drinking water, healthy drinking water for you and your family. What's going on today, Fred?
Well, somehow it got in my mind about talking that we should talk about fluoride in the water.
Now, hold on. Why would there be fluoride? I understand fluoride is for my teeth. You know, I have it in toothpaste, and every once in a while I'll go to the dentist and get a cleaning, and he'll give me a fluoride
treatment. Now,
why would they put fluoride in our drinking water?
Well, the dirty little secret is that the fluoride in our drinking water is not pharmaceutical-grade fluoride, number one.
Okay.
It's actually called hydrofluorosilicic acid, and it comes from industry where the aluminum industry and also phosphate mining industry.
So this isn't the stuff that's good for your teeth. This is another chemical altogether.
Yeah, it's a waste product.
Okay.
Somehow they convinced the government agencies that this is something good because
They thought it would just create some sanitizer or some way to kill germs in the water. Is that what it is?
no, they were saying it's good for your teeth.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
not even an attempt to kill bacteria or make the water safer, just an additive,
Exactly.
something they thought they'd throw in there to make you healthier.
Yeah.
Well, but we
Good for
can't
your
just
teeth.
we can't just stick with water.
No.
Wow.
Now, the interest is fluoride occurs naturally in the earth.
Okay.
Through rocks and things like that as water passes. So, it's okay. You can tolerate that.
And you often say, Fred will come out and give you a free water test, and he'll say you have minerals in your water, and that's good.
The minerals are good.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The things they add in the water, like chloramine and chlorine,
Right.
and then the stuff that gets polluted in our rivers that winds up in our water as well.
Now, this is the most incredible part of it. Fred comes on all the time. We talk about what's in your water, and you wouldn't believe what's in your water anyway.
Yeah.
But pharmaceutical drugs, they don't dissolve. This is the crazy thing. You think, hey, I flushed some pills down the toilet. Big deal. They're going to wash away. They're gone. They're not gone. They just stay in the water, and they concentrate in living organisms. So they'll catch a fish, and they'll find he has trace amounts of all different kinds of Viagra, all kinds of chemicals in his blood.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we've really done a poor job of managing our water, and Fred does a great job of telling you what's in your water. I know chloramine, I can't see a reason. It just seems like poison to me.
Oh, it definitely is. Chloramine is chlorine and ammonia mixed.
And we're consuming that all the time.
Yeah. Well, if you're drinking from the tap, you are. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Now, there was a time when everyone drank from their tap, Fred.
Well, some of us older guys remember we used to drink
Not
right from the
anymore.
garden hose.
Man, ask your kid to go ahead and pour himself a fresh glass of water from the tap. He'll look at you like, what? That's toxic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. One generation, we managed to mess our water up.
Yeah. So we all now rely on bottled water.
Right.
I urge your listeners to do their own research on bottled water as well.
First of all, pretty soon they're going to put dates on bottled water like it's a beer or something because you don't know how long it's been in the bottle.
Yeah.
Of course, the big complaint initially was, hey, these plastic bottles don't go anywhere. So these companies said, we're going to make them biodegrade faster. But that happens while the water's still in the bottle initially. It's starting to biodegrade.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a problem all around. We have plastics everywhere, fluoride, chloramine. It's you better get Fred out to your house and find out what you're drinking because he's got a simple solution. We're going to get into that in a minute. But talk a little bit more about chloramine, Fred.
Oh, yeah. The chloramine, it's not a chlorine will sanitize the water. Ammonia will not.
Okay.
It's basically a stabilizing additive.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure I follow that. What do you mean stabilize? What are they trying to stabilize, Fred?
The chlorine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the chlorine's in the water for health. They feel for health reasons because it's killing bacteria.
Kill bacteria, correct.
Okay. Now to monitor that or to keep that from having dangerous side effects, they've added another compound, ammonia.
Yeah, not to limit the side effects, but just to stabilize everything in the water flow.
Ammonia. Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well, years ago, housewives would mix different chemicals together to clean,
Right.
and they'd find the husband would come home, find them passed out on the floor because
The fumes.
the fumes from that. I mean, it's chemical warfare.
Yeah.
It was what it was developed for originally, or what it was used for.
And now it's in our drinking water. Isn't that
Yeah.
great?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the good thing is we can handle all of that. So.
Fred's solution, guys, we talk all the time. We talk about plastics in our water. We got chloramine. He's mentioned fluoride today. There's lots of compounds in your water, and you think, well, what a mess this is. How can we? It's a simple solution. Wait till you hear Fred. Tell him what the material is made out of.
Well, the heart of our system is catalytic carbon made from
Right.
coconut shell.
So it's just a completely organic, biodegradable product that he's found, and it found a way to take all this stuff out of your water. It's really the antidote for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your system, Fred.
Yeah. So that's stage 1, and then stage 2 is our anti-scale system.
Okay. And scale is that hard rock, that hard compound in the water?
Yeah, that's the minerals that are good for you, but they do leave scale on your dishes, on your shower doors, and such.
Okay. And that's that staining you see, that white
The calcium,
appearance. Yeah,
correct.
build up. Okay.
So our system takes care of that. The other thing, your home is already coated, all your pipes on the inside are coated with calcium.
From just having the
deposit.
water pass through them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've seen cases where so much builds up that the water flow gets restricted.
So the scale can actually create pressure issues for your house.
Oh, yeah.
And how long does it take for scale to get into a situation? I guess it depends on how much is in the water, right?
Yeah, mainly if you have copper tubing in the home. Most of the homes have copper piping.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get built up a little bit quicker.
Now, I assume because we're newer down here in Florida than they are in Flint, Michigan, that we don't have the same kind of issues they had with the pipes up there. That was a crazy. I mean, that story just seems awful to me.
Well, we had problems with pipes here.
Okay.
A lot of the mobile homes had this pipe that used to rupture.
Mm-hmm.
Places that would freeze, if your water line would freeze a little bit, it would break.
Okay.
Tons of money was spent on repiping homes throughout the United States.
Yeah, now I think it's even a move by folks who might not need it as a way to scare a homeowner into some new piping that they might not need.
Oh, yeah. Well, here in Florida, you'll hear people say, oh, I got a leak coming up through my slab.
Mm-hmm.
So the copper pipes are running under the concrete floor.
Oh.
Well, if you have chloramine running through your pipes, you're going to get pinholes. Eventually, water's going to show up
It's
somewhere.
so toxic that it has the ability to pierce the pipe.
Oh, yeah, it's very acidic.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, can you imagine
yeah,
that?
there's not a thing good about any of it.
Right, and that's what you're drinking. So a lot of folks think, well, no problem. I got a water softener. I'm just going to go get a water softener, Fred.
Okay.
And so we're just going to buy a bunch of bags of salt and throw it in a big thing on the side of our house, and now we got soft water.
Yeah.
It's not quite that
You may have taken out the minerals,
Mm-hmm.
but now you've added sodium to your drinking water.
And it's getting in the shower. It's all over your hair and skin, so it's getting in another way as well.
Oh, yeah.
So the traditional water softener relying on salt requires you not only to keep feeding it salt, so you're constantly buying bags of salt, but it's just another compound in the water. We haven't taken out anything. We've added to the water.
We've added, and then water softener back flushes every 4 days, and that wastes about 100 gallons of water a week.
So not very efficient either.
No, and that pollutes our environment. So
there's lots of issues out there as far as water goes. It used to be such a simple thing. You never thought about it.
Yeah.
We bring Fred on now because it's something you better think about. It's primary for your health. Clean air and water. If you don't have that, you're in a real bind.
Yeah. And now, I mean, we really have to protect our immune system.
Right.
Now, one of your sponsors does a great thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Replenish IV's worried about it, but it's pervasive. It's something that's from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, it's constantly, if you're not drinking it, you're in contact with it.
Exactly.
So it's common all the time.
Yeah. I should mention, too, many states and municipalities have outlawed the use of water softeners because of the polluting and the wasted of water.
I can imagine it's not beneficial to the overall water. I mean, this water has to be recycled again anyway.
Yeah.
So you're going to pull that back out and try to clean it again.
Everything we do winds up in the Hillsborough River here locally for
Mm-hmm.
us. That's where we get most of our water from.
So this initiative that we hear about, the toilet to tap, where they're going to take reclaimed water.
Exactly. And they've already done the study, and they will plan to blend that with the water coming out of the desalinization plant.
So we're going to have a little change in our chemical composition in terms of the water that we're getting, but I don't want you folks to dwell on it, but you are going to be drinking water that's gone through a toilet. So just consider that if you would.
Yeah.
Now, the alternative would be have Fred come out and install a system. What's the one you put right into the sink, Fred?
Well, first we start out with the whole house system.
Okay.
That connects right to your main water line.
So it catches all the water coming through all your taps, showers, everywhere you got
Everywhere.
water. Okay.
Protects all your appliances. Great thing to have if you have a tankless water heater. A lot of people have that today.
Okay.
And then we really recommend our under sink unit
Yeah.
because that's treating the water for the fluoride, the pharmaceutical drugs, the microplastic particles.
And if you think about your sink, that's where you're going to cook. So food that's going to be used, you're going to boil water, you're going to cook
Yep.
water. A lot of that water is going to come right out of your tap. You have that addendum to your sink where Fred's going to have a special spigot designed
That's
to give you
it.
that clear water.
Yep.
Man, that is a great idea. And again, I'm so impressed by the fact that it's just organic material. We're not battling with chemical warfare here.
Yep. Getting back to fluoride for a
Yeah.
minute, just take a look at your fluoride toothpaste and read the warning label. See what it says about if you swallow it, what you should do.
I honestly think that everyone out there thinks of fluoride as a great thing because they've heard so much that it prevents
Yep.
tooth decay.
I tell you, I would really love to send anybody who would email me some links where they can read up on this
Yeah.
stuff. And just send an email to me, fred@waterscience.us.
Fred@waterscience.us. He's there to answer all your questions. Again, Fred's not just a water guy, he's a plumber. You were a plumber for many, many years.
Oh, second generation. I have 60 years in plumbing.
Goes way back,
belt.
understands all about your water system from a real long-term perspective. So he's seen this, like we talked about, we used to drink out of the hose when we were kids, and we're a long way from that now with the bottled water revolution, and now he's offering you a system that you can attach right to your house and make sure you and your family are protected. So we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back and talk more with Fred about what he does and what he can offer you, because you'll come right out to your place. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. We got more great sponsors, more great properties for you, and a feel-good story about Tim Tebow. You talk about a friend who'd give you the shirt off his back. Tim Tebow will give you the shoes off his feet. I'm going to tell you all about it when we come back. Don't go anywhere. The Consumer Quarterback Show rolls on.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man, Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the Real Estate Quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
That's right. ConsumerQB.com is where you can find all our sponsors, all our partners, and plenty of information about Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. As I mentioned, he's a realtor in the Bay Area, has been for quite some time. We've got a sponsor for this segment. It's Brothers Easy Moving, another one of those partners that is a natural fit for the real estate community. Brandon moved himself. These folks moved Brandon. Whether you're going local or long distance, Brothers Easy Moving is the place for you. These guys are the official moving company of the show, again, because I mentioned they moved Brandon himself. And they did such a great job that they right away came on board. You know, Angie's List Super Service Award winners. And you can check out all their 5-star reviews at brotherseasymoving.com. Local or long distance, they're definitely the moving company for you. And we got the final property of the show coming up right here. Again, Brandon owns the Platinum MVP team. He's got commercial and residential properties for you. Today's property at the end of the show, Johnny's going to throw it for me, is in Bel Air. If you're looking to get into the Bel Air area, we've got a 2.5 with a 2-car garage. This one's got a wood flooring. It's real close to the beaches. So if you want to get into the Bel Air location, 422 Wildwood Way, get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Again, he's got opportunities for you, residential, commercial. He's even got land for you to build on. Don't leave money on the table. Get in touch with Brandon for all your real estate needs. All right, one of the things that is the hallmark of the Consumer Quarterback Show, one of the things we pride ourselves on, is the feel-good story. We want to make sure that we inject some positivity into your day. There's a lot of negative news and information out there that don't dwell on that. It'll bring you down. So we want some positive stuff for you. And who's more positive than Tim Tebow? It's going to be hard to find somebody, I promise you. Tim Tebow does all kinds of good deeds. And this one, he visited a homeless shelter in Phoenix. Of course, he went there to donate shoes. You know, he brought up 50 pairs of shoes with him. He realized he didn't have enough shoes. So what does Tim Tebow do? Well, the gentleman who runs the St. Vincent de Paul missionary where they were said Tebow spent time there telling staff members he wanted to visit the guests as well as people who live on the street. And during his stay, he gave away 50 pairs of shoes. St. Vincent de Paul told ABC 15 at the end of the visit there were more people left without shoes as Tebow exited. So the Heisman Trophy winner took his shoes off and gave them to one of the guests on the way out, in addition to taking in names and putting a list together for all the folks who didn't get shoes to make sure they did through his nonprofit. He was very fortunate, and the shelter says we're very fortunate to have Tim Tebow visit our main campus in South Phoenix last week. He went above and beyond, donated 50 pairs of shoes to be given away to St. Vincent de Paul clients who needed them most. And not just that, he took the shoes off his own feet and gave them to a person on the way out the door. So think of other folks. Do something good for somebody else. It's all about that random act of kindness, and certainly Tim Tebow represents that very, very well. Before the break, we were visiting with Fred DeFelice. He comes in here all the time to try to help us understand how we can get clean water for our family and loved ones, because you never know what's in your water until you have it tested, and Fred will come right out and do that for you. Fred, talk a little bit about you going out to somebody's house and doing a water test.
Yeah, it's really a simple process. We start out with a 5-minute phone conversation. I can pretty much tell you what size system you're going to need and the cost. We have upfront pricing. There's no surprise with us.
Is this the kind of system where they're going to have to keep buying additional products? How does this work, Fred?
Oh, the great thing about our systems, they carry a lifetime warranty, require no maintenance for 3 years.
Okay.
And we take care of that.
So you're not buying salt every month and throwing it in a... No?
No, you're not wasting water. You're not buying salt.
And this way, you got a source of clean drinking water to cook with and drink right at your sink. So
every faucet in the home.
You're not buying bottled water, so there's a savings there. And then you can feel better about not throwing plastic bottles out into the ocean for the rest of your life. It takes 500 years for one of those to go away, and God knows we all thousands of them every day. So let's limit those if we could. So really, Fred, you're talking about cleaner water at a decreased price and much simpler, really. Again, you're just using your tap.
Yeah. We'll visit the home. I'll test the water, inspect all your plumbing, take a look at your water heater, give you an idea how old it might be.
That's right. Again, Fred's a third generation. Second generation master plumber.
My 2 of my 5 sons are keeping
the family business, huh?
Yeah. So there'll be 3. I'll bring a sample of our alkaline water for you to sample.
Okay.
We offer financing, 12 months, no interest. Our regular financing starts at $19 a month.
Wow.
And
Very
we're also
affordable.
rolling out a rental program for people
Okay.
If they want to opt for that.
Very good. Lots of options for you there. You mentioned alkaline. I had no idea about this. I had a friend who was diagnosed with cancer, and one of the things they said to him is, boy, you've got this. You've got to change your alkalinity. Yeah. And it's a problem with him. I had no idea, but the problem, they made sure he had distilled water or clean water was a big one. Fresh vegetables, they kind of changed his whole diet up. Yeah. But I had no idea about this alkalinity.
Yeah. Most of us do have a acidic lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So you need the easiest way to change that around is the water.
Okay.
My doctors that I work with, I mean, they just swear by what we do.
Yeah.
I've been drinking this for the last 10 years.
That's right.
It's worked for me.
It's so, like we talk about water, it's everywhere, it's all the time. It's something you drink gallons of, and you better know what's in it. I mean, we put kids out with bottled water. We give people water fountains. There's all these different sources of water, but none of them, we don't really know what they're giving us, what's in that water anytime we're consuming it.
No, you know, unfortunately, most schools, their little water fountains are not filtered at all. They're finding lead in that water and everything else. So, I mean, tell your kids don't drink from any of those water fountains.
It's like I said, it's just built into our culture. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. And then if the solution's bottled water, we've just traded one problem for another.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole idea behind Fred and Water Science is we've got a solution. We're offering an alternative that's better for the environment and, most of all, better for you and your health. You don't have to worry about getting ill from something you didn't even see in the water.
Yeah. And really, if you analyze what you're spending on bottled water, most people will find out they're spending $50 a month easily.
Yeah.
So,
it makes perfect
you
sense.
can have our system for half of that.
That's right.
You know, we just celebrated Veterans Day.
That's right.
And we always do things for our veterans. So we are offering a special discount for all veterans, active duty military, first responders, all medical servers. And we're including all the crossing guard agents at the school crossings.
So Fred is looking out for everybody out there. Make sure you take advantage of this opportunity. Again, he's talking about a free water test. What could be the harm in finding out what you're drinking? Don't you want to know what's in your water? I mean, that would be something you got kids. How can you feel great about their health unless you know what they're drinking? All day long they're around this water. Find out what's in it.
And bathing and showering, you're absorbing that chlorine.
That's right.
In your skin. So,
you know, we talk a lot about technology and advancements, and that's why I'm so excited. You know, the microplastics, it's so bad. We talk about the plastic bottles, and a lot of people think the 5-gallon bottle is a solution, but it's still in a plastic bottle. And as you mentioned before, these trucks are out on the road in the bright sunlight all day driving around.
Yeah.
It's just a process of getting the plastic and water mixed together. You cannot get that apart. You know
well,
what I
they're
mean?
finding the microplastic particles in our water, right in the river as well. So and they're not filtering that out.
Right.
Our systems will.
They are pervasive, folks. If you don't have a solution for plastics, you need to really examine that because they get through a lot of. They're so dissolved in the water that they're in us. They're in the water.
Oh yeah.
They're in fish, game. Everything around us now has plastic in it.
Yeah.
All right. Last minute of the show, Fred. What's the best way for folks listening to get you to come out and test their water?
They can call me 727-804-4562. Best thing is just send an email at fred@waterscience.us.
Fred@waterscience.us.
Or go on the website, waterscience.us.
Waterscience.us, I'm telling you, he'll come right out to your house. He'll give you no pressure sales whatsoever. Again, the product's very affordable, and it's clean, organic, just a great solution for a problem that we face.
Yeah.
And I love when we can solve a technical problem or a pollution issue with something so simple.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for coming in, Fred. Again, if you want to get in touch with Fred, he's also at the Consumer Quarterback Show's website, which is consumerqb.com. Like all our partners on the Consumer Quarterback Show, I want to thank Brandon for creating the Consumer Quarterback Show and giving that information to all the consumers in the Bay Area. I was glad to substitute host for Brandon, but Brandon is going to be back, so we're looking forward to having him back in the studio right here in our Salem Media Group studios next week. Don't go anywhere without checking out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.